Welcome back to Empower and Elevate. I'm Joanna Ogunleye, and today's episode is for anyone who has ever felt boxed in by a narrow definition of success. So we're calling this one Beyond the Ladder, redefining advancement on your own terms. We are focusing on three redefining segments today. The first one being the traditional climb versus the purposeful progression. The segment 2 is creating your definition of advancement. And segment 3 is the membership that meets you where you are. So moving on to the first segment, the traditional climb versus the purposeful progression. We often associate success with a linear climb, new titles, new salaries, new seats at the table. But what if that ladder isn't the only path? Advancement doesn't always mean up. Sometimes it means deep and deepening your expertise, growing influence in your community, or expanding your personal leadership capacity. So let me pause here and share a quick story. There was a former mentee of mine, let's call her name Maya. She was a high-performing marketing leader. On paper, she was winning promotions, bonuses, etc. But then she told me, she said, Joanna, I feel like I'm running someone else's race. Does that sound familiar to you? We dug deeper and realized that Maya's real passion was education. So she pivoted, not up, but sideways, and she took a pay cut to lead learning initiatives at a non-profit. Now, a year later, she's designing programs impacting thousands of students. And she told me, Joanna, this is the first time my title and my purpose have ever aligned. What do you think about that? Reflect on that. Now, here's the question. Where does your current path feel like someone else's definition of success? And where does it feel like it's yours? I'll repeat the question. Where does your current path feel like someone else's definition of success? And where does it feel like yours? Moving on to the second segment, creating your definition of advancement. Everybody has a different definition of what advancement means to them. So let's talk about values. True advancement aligns with who you are and not what others think about you, or not even what others expect you to be. So do you value creativity? Do you value service? Or do you value freedom? So maybe even advancement means more autonomy or a role that lets you mentor others. Here's an exercise that I love. Grab a journal right now and write the answers to these three questions. The very first question is, what's a moment in your career where you felt truly fulfilled? Not just proud, but fulfilled. Number 2, what's a role or a project you've admired from afar but talked yourself out of it, and why? And the last one is, if you could design your ideal week, what would it include? I'll give you an hint. Pay attention to the task that you eliminate when you're putting your answers together. I'll give you a personal example. My personal example. So earlier on in my career, I worked on high-profile projects. I was results driven. And along the line, I'm always doing knowledge transfer with the rest of the team. I excelled so much in knowledge transfer and knowledge sharing. But then I realized, that I also thrive in intimate settings, deep conversations. So I shifted. And now my advancement metric is impact per conversation, and not just audience size. It's the impact that I make. It's the seed that I sow into others. It's the guidance and the mentorship and the coaching that I offer. So here's an action step for you. Share your answers to one of those questions with a trusted friend or even family this week. And speaking them aloud also makes them real. Moving on to the third segment, mentorship that meets you where you are. So find mentors who understand your redefined journey. They won't just push you to climb, they will help you design. Don't settle for one size fits all type of coaching or mentorship. Seek sponsorship that supports your authentic direction. Look for people that will advocate for you. Okay? But here's the catch. Traditional mentorship often assumes everyone wants the same destination. So how do you find the right guides? Look for unconventional mentors. Look for someone in a different industry, not in the organization where you are. Number 2 is a peer who challenges your assumptions, not just cheers you on. Right? And also ask better questions. Instead of saying, oh, how did you get to X title? Try what's a sacrifice you made that wasn't worth it. You don't just want to know about the title of the person that you're questioning, but you want to know the sacrifices that they put in and if it was really worth it. Then also, sponsor is greater than the mentor. While mentors advise you, sponsors advocate. I keep saying that in the previous episodes. Sponsors advocate for you. So find someone who will open doors for your version of success. Not their version of success, but your version of success. And remember that redefining advancement is not a rebellion. It's just a reclamation. Okay, let's move on to the fourth segment, which is the ripple effect of redefining success. So, when you step off the default ladder, you give others the permission to do the same. So think about it. Think about the colleague who sees you prioritize flexibility and realizes that he can do it too. Also think about the mentee who's learned success and can include joy and not just crime. Okay? Now, a listener in the previous episodes emailed me after the episode, and he said that he left a role, a high-profile role, to start a woodworking business. And he wrote, I didn't just change my career, Joanna, I changed what my kids think is possible. And that's the ripple effect. It's not just about changing your career. It's moving in the direction where you find joy, where you find peace, where you find comfort, and where you excel. Right? Now, here's the challenge for you again this week. I have a lot of challenges, to bring forth. The challenge is this week, share a non-traditional way with your network. So maybe it's turning, or maybe it's also prioritizing a side project and normalize redefining success. So again, I share mine. So I went down this path of mentoring people, accepting mentees, joining different mentorship programs, and it's a two-way street. As they learn from me, I also learn from them. So it is something that you can take away, right? When you are being mentored, it's not for you to hold on to all that you have learned from your mentorship journey. It's more so that you can impact the next person, and you in turn can start to mentor, right? So, and then you normalize redefining success. Now, in closing, I would say that advancement doesn't have to be a race or a climb. Advancement can be a journey of alignment, authenticity, and bold choice. You get to define what success looks like for you, not for the other person. You have to define what your understanding of success. What does it look like? And a final thought, the ladder isn't broken. Picture yourself looking at the ladder. It's not broken, right? It's just not the only tool that you have. So maybe your path is a bridge, a spiral, or a mosaic. You get to choose. Think about it. Use the rest of this week and the coming week to think about it. Who's going to choose your path for you? You have to make that decision. So I want to thank you again for joining and tuning in to Empower and Elevate. Mentorship and Sponsorship Redefined. Share this episode with someone rewriting their definition of success. And keep rising your way. Keep lifting others up. And keep empowering and elevating others. Until next time, thank you so much for joining.